Alright, g'day folks, here's the tutorial on Memphis Slim's Mother Earth for the Edinburgh Blues Academy, week 3 I believe. So it's a really cool tune in the minor key. The original I believe is in G minor, but that's incredibly high for me to sing, and judging by any of you guys, I think you'd find it pretty high too, so we're going to transpose that into the key of E minor. It's a much more comfortable place to sing it. But that should be no problem for you guys because you're all top class musicians. Alright, so it's a minor key blues, so we have 3 chords, the 1, 4 and the 5. We're going to use a minor 1, so it's going to be E minor. I'll just play first position chords, E minor, and then it'll move to A minor. Memphis Slim's original recording I think uses a dominant chord there, but I prefer to use the minor, so we'll keep it E minor to A minor, and then the 5 chord will be B7. Okay, now let's cut straight into the introduction. He does this cool thing. Now our piano player is going to be playing some rapid minor chords on the 1, something like this. And at that point the horns come in with a really nice line. It goes like this, from the 5th fret note of G on the D string, and then you're going to use your 2nd finger to fret that, so you can come off to the index finger. Okay, and that again, G, G flat, E with the pinky on the A string, and then just bounce back and forth. G flat to E, and one more time. And then you go straight into that descending line. And again. Really cool chromatic line. I don't see that too much in the blues, so I like it very much. There's a couple of ways you could fret that in the key of E. One of them is if you were playing a first position chord, you could, I like to use my middle 2 fingers to play in E minor. So I've got my pinky and index free. So I would step off from the note of E, which is the ring finger, and I step down with the index to E flat on the D string, then reach up with the pinky, play the open D string, and then reach up with the pinky to D flat, descend. Using that fingering means you can always fret a chord if you needed to. Okay. The other way obviously would be to play it from here, the bass strings, on the A string as I did before. You could play it from anywhere where you start on the note of E. You just descend chromatically until you reach B flat, and then you step back onto the B. So let's say you wanted to do it on the high string. So you end up on B. Yeah, you could do it here from the top minor chord, an octave higher than where we started. You can do it all over the place. They all just sound a little bit different. You know, the higher ones are going to cut through more than the lower ones. Depends what you want to achieve. Alright, variety is the spice, as they say. Okay, so let's take a little look at some chord inversions that we can use. Because if we imagine what the band's going to be doing, you're going to have the rhythm section, the bass and drums, and then you're going to have the piano maybe playing some block chords rapidly, like bap 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 bap, in that kind of shuffle rhythm, right? So you don't want to do the same thing as the piano. You want to leave space for that, yeah? So what we might want to do on the electric guitar is play big chord. Leave the space and then change to A minor. B7. Descending to A. And that's back there. Now at that point, that's where the descending line would come in again, yeah? Okay, so let's look at a few ways you can just play an E minor chord. And so we start here, using, as I said, your middle two fingers. There's a first position E chord. Now if you slide your ring finger up to the 5th fret, you're on the note of G. Now let's just take a second here and say what is an E minor chord made of, right? It's made of E, B, and G. So we've slid that ring finger up to the note of G, so we've already got that in the bag. Next, we put our middle finger down there on the B, and then our pinky on E. So that gives us an E chord right there. And we've got this finger left over, we can have another G on top. So that's an E minor chord. Voicing 1, 2, and then to slide up to the 7th fret from this position, a good way to do it, because we want to keep any fingers that we can keep in place, we want to not move them. There's less work to do. So what we want to do is take the pinky and the middle finger and swap them round. So move the middle finger down a string and the pinky up a string. You don't play at this point because you've got to slide up to the 7th fret, and then that'll be an E minor again. So here we've got, and then you swap the fingers round, slide back, E minor again. Just the same notes, just upside down. And then if we wanted to get right up to the top, then you just bar the 3 strings on the 12th fret, and if you can, reach over and grab the root. That gives you 4 notes, and that is the octave of that. So there's 4 different ways you can play an E minor chord. Let's do the same idea with A minor. There's A minor there. I've got the open A string ringing out there, and then ring finger. It's exactly the same as this E chord I played here, except I'm at the 5th fret. The root on top and the root on the ring finger. Okay, now if we slide that ring finger up to the 10th fret and we make the same shape we made earlier for E minor, so 2nd finger, pinky, kind of like a D7, and then you pop your index finger down there. There's an A minor, and then again we can go into that voicing that we've used before, and high A minor in the octave position. First position, in the middle, there, right to the top. Okay, and then B7. So I'm at the 7th fret, making a standard as if I was playing an E7 chord with my middle fingers, sliding it up to the 7th fret and barring, like so. Okay. Now we can get another B7, sorry, we can get another one if we place our finger on the 9th fret, the root on the D string, and then we form what would normally be a D7 chord if we were playing it back here. So we form that there. Gives us a B7 there. And there's another one. Let's do the trick where we swap our fingers around and move up. So we're going to keep these 2 fingers here and we're going to swap these around. So move this down here and this one up here. And then you slide up to the 12th fret. Your index fingers at the 12th fret. Gives you another B7. Swap them back to the 9th fret. And then back here. Okay, so there are all different ways you could play those chords in the song. Now, looking at the structure of the song, the E chord has 4 bars, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then change. 1, 2, and then back to E for 2. Then B7. A, that should give you some ideas to start to apply to the song. If you want to play around along to the original recordings, you're going to be playing in the key of G minor. So just remember to use a dominant chord for the 4-chord change. But all of these ideas that I've shown you here, as long as you know where your root note is, you can use those chords in the key of G minor, just as easy. So that'll be up to you to figure out. But use this video to practice in the key of E minor, listen to Memphis's original recording, and come up with your own ideas. All right, best of luck. I will see you guys on Wednesday, and we'll knock it out of the park. Cheers.